I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration that made ladies sing the blues. I'm the spark that makes your idea bright. The same spark that lights the dark so that you can know your left from your right.
G'day guys, Tiny here from Offtap Brewing. Just wanted to do a video sort of answer to a question that I've heard many times. And basically it's how do I get into all grain brewing without spending the sort of money that you've spent or that other people have spent. I see a lot of very shiny systems out there. I don't have room, I don't have the money, but I want to brew the good beer. You know, I've been brewing tins and I want to brew good beer. You know, that sort of questions. And guys, it's very simple, very simple. For under $100, well under $100, you can have a very schmick brew system. It's mind-boggling how easy this is to do this all grain thing. You definitely do not need the equipment that I've got. I brew on a much larger scale, and mine's more business orientated rather than hobby orientated. But I mean, you know, if you have the budget and a Brewmeister is within your budget, or a big mash tun, or a big boil pot, or 3 kegels, or whatever system you want, and you do have the extended budget, then go for it. But if you're running on a very small budget and you want to produce a nice beer, stick around guys, because I'm going to explain how. This isn't an instructional brewing video. That can follow. If you guys would like to see me brew on this system, let me know and I'll set up a brew on this little system. Okay. Here it is. That's my brewing footprint. That's everything that I need to brew, pardon me, all grain beer, except the grain and the hops and the water, obviously. That's my dry system. This pot is a 19-litre stock pot from Big W here in Australia, and they range, like, I bought these for $20, I think. So there's our first cha-ching, $20 spent pot. Now with this pot, I have been able to produce you know, a 20-litre batch of beer, or a 22-litre batch I think it was. Mid-range beer, so 1045 start off, I think 1045 start off from memory. But I utilised a chilling technique that I call a bag of ice. Basically, I threw the bag of ice in the fermenter. When I finished brewing in here, I tipped what was in here in over the ice, chilled it down, I pitched my yeast. The ice gave me the extra liquid that I needed, which brought it up, brought the gravity down, obviously, but it was what I wanted. So, for $20, you get your stock pot. She's 19 litres. Now, out of this, I reckon you could quite easily get a 15-litre batch of beer without trying to fiddle around with too much outside the box, but, you know, simple as. You get a lid. They're very good. The next thing you want to purchase is a grain bag. Now this one here, I have picked up from my local home brew store, and this cost me $9.99. So, or $9.95, let's say $10. So so far we're up to $30, guys. Cha-ching, we've spent $30, and really, that's all I need to brew beer. The $30 mark. The bag and the pot. I do it on my stove. I heat the water up, I put the mash in, I put the lid on, I insulate it somehow with a blanket, or as I've seen other people doing. Probably the first one I actually saw doing was Chubby Glutton Brew from from Shadow Beast Brewery, guys. Jump over to his channel. He started off like this and started filming. I did this before I started filming, and started filming when I had my Brewmeister. So yeah, Behemoth Brewing, good fellow over in New Zealand there. Definitely watch his old stuff on him brewing like this. Anyhow, stovetop brewing, $30, there you go guys, you're brewing on a stovetop. Say you didn't want to brew on a stovetop, say you wanted some sort of electrical element in this. Let me just pull this gizmo junk out of here. Say you wanted to put an electric element in this, and you wanted to be able to do it outside, or you wanted to be able to take it on the road, or do anything like that with it, just have the independence of having an element in it. Well, guys, for I think it was $11 or $12 or something, maybe 14, but definitely under $15, I purchased a 1.5 kilowatt element, as you can see in the bottom there. Sorry, a little brain fart there. And that one, the beauty of that one, it came with this casing. I didn't have to wire anything. I don't have any wires poking out to get wet. I've doused that in water. It's a sealed unit. It's pretty damn good. Gets this thing to the boil and to temperature very quickly because it's only a small amount of liquid. And it's very adequate. Now, I did have to chase down, it doesn't come with a cord, guys, but the cord is very simple. It's like a computer power supply connection, and I ended up getting the 3-meter cord, so I can step right away from the power point and have it, you know, I've got a little bit more flexibility with it. So that cord, guys, was $10. And the elements, that's $25 for the element and the cord. So 20, 25, 45, we're up to like $55 with this. $55, we're brewing electrically. We've got a kettle here. Basically, we've got a 19 litre kettle. It'll boil the water, little urn. But I figured I needed some way to get the liquid out. I didn't want to have to siphon it. Boiling hot water, I didn't want all that extra cleaning to clean a siphon. I didn't want to mess around with that. So I went to the local hardware store and I picked myself up a tap. Now the tap wasn't expensive. I think I'm at $10 tapping all those little fittings. Plus I also bought a little $2 baking tray, silicone baking tray to cut my washers out with, which gives me lots of washers, and did this heat test on both those and they seal perfectly. So really, guys, there's another $10, that's $65 I'm brewing electrically in my stock pot with a tap on it for $65. I'm happy with that, and I have brewed on this, and you can do a great beer on it. Other upgrades. This was a purchase I made. I got a couple of them. I haven't wired this one up. It's a voltage regulator, guys, and that's not necessary for this type of stuff, but it is an upgrade that I made to this pot, so I might as well show you. And what I've done with that, this is getting into the pricey sort of things. I think that was $20 roughly, probably a little bit less on Fleabay. The cord was $4. I chopped it in half, wired it into this box, which cost me about $10. And there's my voltage regulator. I haven't put marks on here indicating temperatures. I just turn it down, turn it up a little, and I walk away, and I come back and my water's not boiling and it's not over temperature. And you know, it's unnecessary, but you know, a good little thing to play around with for me. So you won't, you know, you don't need it, but it's cheap enough. Okay, guys, the only other thing I've got on this is I had a spare temperature probe thing. You can see the probe goes out into here, so I put that in there. You know, that's unnecessary. Also, that's a very big expense. They're $50. These things around, you have a look around, they're about $50 range, and unnecessary if you go and get yourself a cooking thermometer. I mean, put it in, pull it out. Yeah, there you go, $10 for the cooking thermometer versus $50 for that, and that might leak. So I just had a spare one, so that's why I whacked it in there. So guys, still, you know, we're well within budget. Those unnecessary things I'm not counting in the budget. You know, so we've probably still got enough with the pot, the bag, the element, the cord to go to the brew store and buy our first bag of grain, yeast and hops, and we're brewing for under $100 with our first brew. Other upgrades that I'm going to make to this will be a small 12-volt pump, some fittings, some tubing, and I'm going to make a recirculating mini brew-in-a-bag system. And I think the pump cost me $23, free shipping. $23, yeah, $23, free shipping. So for an extra $23 plus a couple of little fittings, drill a hole, some tubing which I have laying around. The tubing, the good quality tubing can run like $7 a metre. You only need little bits of it, so you buy a metre of it. And then it's a recirculating brew system. But still, all in all, it all goes back into, that's just the spare one, into itself for a very small brewing footprint. Now I can put that in my cupboard, I can put that you know, anywhere. It's not going to be a hassle. A big 3V system, if you don't have the room, is a big hassle. Now obviously if you can find a bigger pot, then go for it. If you want bigger, then definitely go bigger. Those elements, you can get 2 of them and plug them into different circuits in your house, and then once you bring your stuff to the boil, you can quite easily turn that off and turn 1 or 2 off. If you've got, say, mate, you might have 3 in there, you might have a big one, or you might have 2 in there, turn 1 off and then it'll keep the boil going. It's a very simple system like that. If you go the big elements, then you're running the big elements all the time. The smaller elements can save you a bit of electricity, but that's neither here nor there for this video. I think I've pretty much covered it. The brewing process in this, as I said, is not in this video. It's mainly just setting up your little pot. And guys, I've brewed on this and I've created 22 litre batches with it. It's very simple if you can tweak your little system a little bit. You know, I brewed a mash in here. I think I got nearly 6 kilos of grain in it, which is just maxing it out. Like, you needed to spar, like, this is way too much. I would recommend 4.5 kilos, 4 to 4.5 kilos of grain in here. But I did the 5.5, I think 5.5 to 6 from memory. It was a very thick mash, and I got a high gravity beer out of it. How I got the extra volume was I poured a bag of ice into a fermenter and then poured the hot wort out of the tiny brewer into the ice, which chilled it down to pitching temperature and gave me the extra volume I needed. So that was just thinking outside the square to get the extra volume. Alright guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to hit me down below, or Facebook, or anything like that. Any way you want to get in contact and ask those questions, please feel free. I'll be happy to answer. And as always guys, remember, beer makes you smarter.
I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration that made ladies sing the blues. I'm the spark that makes your idea bright. The same spark that lights the dark so that you can know your left from your right.